Symbolism conveys a very complex idea in very few words. That's why I decided to use a video for my multimedia presentation. I feel like conveying my ideas orally is often the most effective and efficient way to get the message across. My video today will be about symbolism, specifically how Margaret Atwood effectively wields the tool symbolism in the novel Oryx and Crake to convey the differences between the old and new world. Some examples of symbolism include comparing the differences of inside versus outside, birds, and the color green. So, before I get started with the rest of this essay, I'm going to give you a brief summary of Oryx and Crake. So it's split up into two storylines, the first of which takes place in the present, where the main character Snowman, or Jimmy, tells stories to a group of Crakers. They're like half robot, half alien looking things. The second storyline is is before the apocalypse, with the three main characters of Jimmy, Glenn, and Oryx. So, Jimmy is the main character. Glenn is Jimmy's best friend, and Oryx is the girl that they both fall in love with, and she has like a troubled past. So Glenn, later known as Crake, is a genius, and Jimmy is of above average intelligence but doesn't work to his full potential. Oryx was taken from her parents at a young age and grew up living in poverty with a pimp, as weird as that sounds. She was also forced into the porn industry. Essentially, Jimmy ends up working for Glenn along with Oryx. He has his own company and he's crazy smart. Glenn envisions a better, perfect world without humans. So he creates these aliens or robots called Crakers. Jimmy and Oryx take care of them, and once they're ready to survive on their own, Glenn releases a secret virus that no one knew about except for him, that kills all the humans on Earth, with the exception of Jimmy, Oryx, and Crake, three main characters. So then, Glenn meets up with Jimmy and Oryx, and he instructs Jimmy to take care of the Crakers, and then shoots Oryx, and then shoots himself, leaving Jimmy the last person on Earth, and he's in charge of the caretakers. This then connects the other storyline of Jimmy being in charge of the Crakers after the apocalypse. It's the first in a series of 3 novels. Sorry. Okay, back to the essay. So now that you understand the plot of the novel, you can see how Atwood uses symbolism effectively. So Atwood frequently compares inside and outside in the novel, and they both symbolize opposite things. So inside represents law, wealth, and health, and those rhyme, and outside represents lawlessness, poverty, and disease. So this is a clear comparison of the before world and the after world, shows Atwood's advanced use of symbolism. So along with inside and outside, Atwood also frequently refers to the novel, to birds in the novel. Birds typically symbolize freedom. Jimmy and Oryx have a conversation about a logo with a red bird on it. Snowman describes body hair to the Crakers as feathers. Chicky Knobs is the fast food they eat in the book. And Alex the parrot, and just other small references to birds all throughout the novel. So all these happen in the old world before the virus. Since birds represent freedom, it's more of a coincidence. It's more than a coincidence than there are no references to birds after the virus breaks out. So this shows lack of freedom after the virus. The use of birds symbolism could also be in reference to Atwood's love of birds. So this is a little side note just in the video. Atwood is a big bird fan. She loves birds. She actually endorses a bird-friendly coffee brand. You can find this at atwoodsblend.com. I linked in the references if you want to take a look. And yeah, during an interview, she also put in a lot of impact on how if birds die, we die. She brought it up several times. This was a couple years ago. Lastly, there's an abundance of the color green in the novel. So green typically symbolizes life and prosperity, but it also symbolizes innocence and humility. So the Crakers have green eyes symbolizing their innocence, almost like newborn babies. Before the plague, the compound had a very wide variety of lush green plants, and after the plague, it's almost the opposite. Oh, and outside the compound had none before the plague. It was very dry, very desolate. And then after the plague is almost the opposite. So outside is overgrown with lush green plants. There's greenery everywhere and no one attend to it. And inside is the same as it was before, but more so that there's way more plants than the outside. In retrospect, Atwood is an amazingly talented author with the ability to turn any piece of writing into a masterpiece, and more specifically, she uses symbolism to effectively show the differences between the old and new world in the novel Oryx and Crake. Thank you for watching. This has been Ben's multimedia presentation.